was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, it was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on the pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. What is the holy city?
Jerusalem.
Is it high elevation?
Yeah, it's on top of the hill.
A hill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the whole city's on the peak, and then the highest point would be like the top of the church steeple, right?
No. Now, Jerusalem's on a hill. I believe that's what it's referring to when it's the holy city. So it would just been a neighboring mountainside. The way that topography is you've got like Jerusalem here, Mount of Olives here, and a bunch of like mountains and stuff kind of spread throughout. So, and then there's there's basically just a bunch of mountains and valleys kind of all close together. So,
So do you think that Satan actually picked Jesus up and like flew him over, or did they astral project, or what do you think?
I think he probably just let him walk.
Let him walk and then climb?
Yeah, something like that.
A long climb.
Probably was, yeah.
Especially on no food.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys keep going. I'm actually gonna check and see what the screen's doing on other people's phones, like Callie and Justice specifically. I'll be right back. So, yeah.
And saith unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Again the devil taketh him up into an exceedingly high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan. Get thee hence?
Get behind me.
Well, yeah, I know it's supposed to say that, but it says get thee hence.
Get thee hence. Get away.
Get the hence behind me. I don't know. For it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
I wonder, you think he tried to do that with God himself?
Did what?
Satan. Like this exact same thing. He already did it once when God, like in heaven. And now he's trying it again with Jesus separately. And it's not working again.
Satan tried to give God his own kingdom?
You know, like when Satan first rebelled against God before.
Oh, he just wanted to be equal with God.
Right, but do you think that this is a replay of that?
I mean, it's his next shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to corrupt the son so that he's no longer the son.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Okay, so they're saying that stuff looks good on their end, so they're happy with it. Let's see.
You're happy, and you know what?
Sojo 2112 says, it would be refreshing to hear modern English instead of the language of the day of 1611. Yeah, I know. Too bad Westcott and Hort were weird. And Hort liked to sit down in churches and let ghosts commune. it's almost like those modern languages are not that great, but that's a whole other topic. So,
Topical.
yeah, never trust anything out of the 1800s. I believe I've said that before. It's like 100 years of a hippie generation in Britain.
Yeah, 1800s is kind of, like, the more you look into it, the more it's like, this is weird.
Oh yeah, communion of the saints. It's like, we're Christians, but we're going to sit in a church and let ghosts sit in the pews with us. We're not weird at all.
Right.
So, anyway. Those are the people translated in your Bible, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
that's Hort. Yeah.
Wow.
Verse 12.
Oh.
That's the rumor, anyhow, but I'm sure there's people who would disagree with that. I know there are, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where are we at, guys?
12. Verse 12.
All right.
Now when Jesus had heard that John was cast into prison, his 11, and the devil leaveth him, and behold, the angels came and ministered unto him. That wraps up the story of the devil tempting Jesus. Then we go to 12. Now when Jesus had heard that John was cast into prison, he departed into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is upon the seacoast in the borders of Zebulun and Nephthalim.
That John, would that be John the Baptist?
Yeah.
Why did they cast him
In jail?
in the jail?
Because he made Herod mad, because he told Herod he shouldn't marry his brother's wife. And he got pissed off, but he wouldn't kill him because he respected him. And then later on, that chick dances for him. And he's like, "Oh, I'll do whatever you want." And then she asked her mother what she should ask for, and he's like, "Oh, give the head of John the Baptist."
Yep, that's pretty much what I went down.
And then that's how John died.
Yep.
We'll actually read that later, won't we?
Yeah, we'll be reading that later.
Verse 14. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet.
Yeah, Isaiah the prophet,
The land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim. I wonder if there was really big bones buried there. By the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee, and the Gentiles, the people which sat in the darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. You tell me that's not an allegory?
Yeah, it's a reference or a quote to, I want to say Isaiah, I believe. I think this is one of those more complicated prophecies. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is some weird stuff. This is all coded. The people which sat in the darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up.
Yeah, this would be a great time to have Google, but oh well. Yeah, he's quoting Isaiah here, and this is basically Christ fulfilling prophecy. But one of the things about that is it's not just like, telling the future. There's like archetypal parallels being drawn. So It's like sometimes when he's talking about prophecy, it's literally predicting the future beat for beat. Other times it's like more akin to saying, it's like this thing Isaiah brought up here, and it's like history rhyming type of deal. Does that make sense? So Matthew has a combination of drawing those parallels back as well as like predicting the future, or like quoting prophets who, like Isaiah, who predicted the future. So it's one of those callbacks, I guess you could say.
Okay. Verse 17. From that time Jesus began to preach and to say, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he saith unto them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And they straightway left their nets, and followed him. And going on from thence, he saw other Jew brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets. And he called them, and they immediately left the ship and their father, and they followed him. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. And his fame went throughout all Syria. And they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee, from Decapolis, and from Jerusalem, and from Judea, and from beyond Jordan. And that is chapter 4. That's funny that the word diverse, the first place that is referring to demons and disease.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a parallel there, I suppose. Yeah.
Almost.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Why do some churches not teach this? Like,
we know the screen's messed up. We're sorry.
Yeah, we tried to fix it.
You have to deal with it. You want to watch it.
It's turn your phone sideways and then lock it, I guess. So,
Yeah.
So,
What are you saying? I was not paying attention.
oh, that was my thought. You were asking Trevor why they don't teach this, and what are you? Why don't they teach what?
some churches will skip this completely and not even talk about this.
The diseases and stuff?
Him healing the like people in like they have devils and demons and stuff like that. They don't teach about possession at all.
Yeah, they don't want to
They don't
because
want to.
nobody knows how to deal with it.
That's how it is.
They're scared.
Well, it's also like there's this doctrine of cessationism that kind of believes all the supernatural stuff, like the miracles and everything, stopped after the Bible was
Yeah,
written.
miracles stopped, whatever that means.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of the reasons they don't talk about it. I also think they don't talk about it because everybody wants to be academic and smart. They want to seem smart, and talking about demons and supernatural
It
stuff.
makes you look like an idiot.
It makes you look like one of those superstitious
Well,
plebs.
let's chew on that because your intrusive thoughts, in my opinion, are demons. Right.
Some of them are. Yeah.
And so, if you're sitting there like judging someone for talking about demons, it's the demons in your head telling you that they're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're covering up their own existence in a way.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that it's sinful. I think because the world is bigger than just wanting to seem smart and not talk about anything supernatural. But
Yeah.
and there are people that deal with that stuff. My church was secessionist, and it had not just my stuff, but other kids going through that stuff. Never talked about.
Turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, that's really what it was. What was happening, from what I remember, is that the kids were going on mission trips, like Africa or Mexico or wherever, and the rumor was they were bringing stuff back, and that stuff was following them to their houses, and it was tormenting them, and the church wouldn't even talk about it, because it's like, we're secessionists, we don't believe in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
The apostles took care of all of the demons already.
yeah, something like that. So they just, it was evil, really.
Yeah.
Sit there and ignore that stuff.
Turning a blind eye is the most evil thing you can do.
Well, people just like, we don't want to be those guys. We don't want to be those crazies,
I don't want to be judged.
But, the whole point of being intellectual is you do have to look at stuff, even if a bunch of kids are coming up to you saying, we went on a mission trip, and they're not talking to each other. They're trying to talk to the preacher in private. So you have all these kids coming up to the youth pastors and the preachers individually without talking to each other because there's peer pressure all the way around. They're all going to the youth pastor and the preacher on their own. You would think those guys would be like, okay, we got to figure out how to handle this. We got to figure out what we're going to tell the kids. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty dark, because why would they lie? Like, and they're certainly not talking to each other about it, because everybody's kind of sharing that stigma. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the pictures
Awful.
of showing them stupid. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was raised Baptist, and I never really heard about any of this until I left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And moved
Sit
out.
literally. Yeah. You start reading it, and you're like, oh. Like, churches don't require you to read the Bible, man. They're like,
No, memorize.
come to church, memorize verses.
Memorize verses, memorize
that we
the
print off our
chapters,
sheet.
but don't actually read any of it
Yeah.
and understand it.
Don't think critically about it.
I mean, I was encouraged to read my Bible, thankfully. I don't know how, I don't think they actually expected very many kids to do it. But, they said you were supposed to at least.
But it's always like an ego thing. They're like, oh, yeah, cover to cover, baby.
But
Cover
yeah,
to cover. And it's like, well, that doesn't, what did you get from it? They're like, nothing, I just read it. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, how many times have you read the Bible? That's where your salvation is.
yeah.
who said that?
I've had
Every
people tell me that. How many
Every
times
boomer
have you
says
read
that.
How many times you read yourself, the Bible is correlated with your salvation, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I've had
crazy.
people tell me that. I'm like,
At your
I
church?
don't understand. Just randomly.
I've had bosses like that, just like old boomers, man.
Just random people.
Holy
throughout.
cow.
I've read the
Oh, cover to cover.
I've had, I knew a guy, he said he was not a believer. What's it called?
Atheist?
Atheist.
Yeah.
He's like, I've read the Bible like 10 times. And I was like, I actually haven't read it all the way through. But I do understand it a little better. And so he would pull up the Bible and ask me questions like this. What does this mean? Why does this contradict this? And I had more Bible study with an atheist
Yeah.
after I left my church.
Why do you think Jesus hung out with atheists
Yeah.
and scumbags?
But
That's interesting. 10 times, huh?
yeah, he read it like 10 times, and he actually believed the Quran more.
The Quran's pretty based, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. He had read the Quran, he read the Bible, he read several other books, and I'm like, I haven't even made it all the way through once.
So, do you think he was
He was
really
trying.
looking, or was he like poking holes, or just
He
trying to poke
was
holes?
poking to get me to not believe, is what I felt.
Well, no, but why do you think he spent so much time reading the Bible himself? Do you think he was really looking for the truth, or do you think he was trying to poke holes?
I think he was just trying to find that higher power.
Yeah.
And he didn't believe what the Bible was saying, he just read it.
Which is how you should read it, I think. You just
It's a-
read it
It's
and
a
see what you learn from it.
book.
But
Mm-hmm.
So if you read it from a human perspective, that's the only perspective you're going to get, and it's going to be confusing. So if you read it from a supernatural perspective, it makes 10 times more sense.
So I was actually talking to some Jehovah's Witnesses came by the other day, and I talked to them for like half an hour in the driveway.
Is that a witness to you?
I don't know, maybe, but they. I was talking to them about I think because they asked me what part of the Bible is important to me, and I've talked to you about this.
Yeah.
The Gospels are the most important part because it's the part that I can apply to my life and it actually affects it and positively, right? Like the Old Testament, I can't apply that to my life. I find it ridiculous. Revelation, I can't do anything with that. Paul is ridiculous to me because he makes excuses for his behavior.
We'll get to that eventually, yeah.
And so this is what I'm telling these guys, and the Paul thing cracked them up. They laughed pretty hard. They're old dudes.
Paul is my favorite author.
I know.
I think I've said that already. Yeah.
So I think that the gospel is the most applicable to your life. So, but I think in that, when I'm hungry, I garner more from the gospels. So, like, I think the more fasted you are, the less connected to the earth, right? Be in the earth, not of it, right? So the more fasted if you're fasted for 10 days, I think you're going to get way more gravy out of here than if you read the Bible full.
I've heard that idea before.
Really?
Yeah, fasting connects you to God.
Well, yeah. But like, I think you'll actually learn something different that you've never learned out of here if you do it.
Yeah.
Hungry. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been thinking about that for a couple weeks. I'm like, man, I think that's true.
Yeah. No, I do find it interesting that atheist didn't supposedly read it so much. I don't know if I buy 10 times, but he was clearly familiar with it.
He was quoting stuff, and he brought his Bible out and showed me and asked me questions.
What was something that stumped you?
There was a lot of stuff that stumped me because I was fresh out of high school, and I had never actually sat down and read the Bible through at all.
Yeah.
So I was only doing what I was told to in church. I was going on Sunday, and that was it. It was sometimes Wednesday night. And I'd sit through what the preacher would teach, but I never actually listened. So when I ran into this atheist, it was in boot camp, we would sit down in our free time and talk about the Bible. And that's some of the stuff I've asked are questions that he asked me.
Well, what's a specific example? What's something he asked?
The whole Jesus, when Jesus was up on the mountains and temple,
who did he break through?
He asked me about, okay,
You're funny.
It's not me asking.
Like, how did Satan? How did Satan get Jesus up there? Did he astral project?
Oh, that.
And I had no idea at the time what astral projection was.
Yeah. That sounds like he's just being hyperbolic. I mean, the mountains aren't it's not like Montana.
Yeah.
The mountains out there. I mean, you just walk the top of them. It ain't like a huge.
I thought the Holy City could be what they talk about in Revelation too, because it says at the pinnacle. Which
I'm pretty sure that's shorthand for Jerusalem.
It could be.
So we don't have Google to check it tonight.
The Holy City. Index. Y'all keep talking.
No, I do think it is interesting that they teach you to memorize Bible passages, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I don't really feel like they teach you how to read the Bible very well, like how to apply literary criticism to the Bible.
It's like using math practically versus memorizing math equations.
Like A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Yeah, that stuff that doesn't help you at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to square letters? I forgot.
Yeah. No, I feel like I always likened it to taking a politician out of context. You know what I mean? Like they just cherry pick then bend it to whatever they want. And I'm always like, a letter to an individual, like Paul wrote a letter to Timothy, for example, and a letter to a group that's going to read different, that's going to affect how you read a verse, you know what I mean, and the kind of analogies you use. And they don't teach you, basic stuff like, okay, who wrote it and who is he writing to? And say, okay, you need to think about that when you're reading the letter. They also don't point out that, the letter's supposed to be, I might have heard this once from one preacher, I think it was a church in Texas said this, but, you're supposed to sit down and read those letters in one sitting. That's what they're designed for. They're not designed to just grab one verse, like it's a shame for man to have long hair or whatever. You're supposed to sit down and read it all the way through because it's a cumulative case to a church. They don't teach that normally. I don't think so.
No.
I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I do feel like that you do have to have some grasp of the English language to understand it.
Yeah. I don't think anybody teaches you how to think anymore.
Yeah.
There's very, very few people.
Has there been any comments or?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So we're ready to move on, or?
Yeah, we can go to the next chapter if you want. 5.
5? All right.
Chapter 5.
All right.
And seeing the multitudes, he went up into the mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
I found it. The Holy City.
It's me.
It's in Revelations 21,
Oh.
and it's chapter 21. It talks about the Holy City being Jerusalem.
Oh, so it is Jerusalem.
Yeah, it says in verse 2, and I, John, saw the Holy City, New
The
Jerusalem,
new Jerusalem.
coming down from
New
God out
Jerusalem
of
is
heaven,
different.
That's a different thing.
prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
I was wondering because
Yeah, I
it
was
says
paying
at the
attention to the definite
pinnacle.
article. The
Pinnacle.
Holy City.
Pinnacle is the top of the pyramid in my eyes. Which when it talks about the dimensions in Revelation of the holy city, it's either a square or a pyramid. And
Yeah.
considering, I think it's a pyramid.
Yeah, I think that's the most common view of it. Yeah.
Did you know you take like a magnifying glass, shine light through it, the sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a pyramid on the ground.
Yeah, like
That's
a
right. That's cool, right?
Wait, how's it go again? Pyramid?
Like this. Like this.
Illuminati
Yeah.
confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed. You heard it here first.
Probably
No,
not.
I would argue a little bit though, because I think the Holy City in Matthew, I do think that is Jerusalem. New Jerusalem doesn't exist yet, at least not on Earth. So I don't think it can mean the eternal king, like the kingdom of God, as it were.
You don't think
That
Satan
hasn't happened
has?
yet.
You think he can transverse the heavens? He can't
I mean, like time and space.
maybe sort of. You don't think Satan could take Jesus to the top of the holy city and look at the whole world, like all of time and.
Like all the kingdoms of the earth, yeah, I think you can do that, but I just don't know if it's like
So,
literally
what if it-
Jerusalem,
what if it was?
or I don't think it's like literally the New Jerusalem or whatever.
What if, this is just me speculating, what if he did take him to another dimension, back to the New Jerusalem within Revelations? Like,
Like so.
sped up time and showed him, you know.
Well, I don't think that's
I
the
just don't
case
know if
because it says, you know,
the
all
devil
these
has that
things I will
power.
give you if you bow down and worship me during that portion. So it's like, well, he obviously wouldn't own the New Jerusalem.
That's true.
That's God's, like, you know,
Yeah,
the
you're
like
right.
perfected
Fair
domain.
point.
So it's
I
got to
like
be
that.
the kingdoms of the earth. So.
Excellent argument.
Alright.
Sorry. Go on.
You're good.
Do you guys have any thoughts on what the poor in spirit means?
Poor in spirit.
'Cause I don't exactly know what that means. Like, I would assume it means like something to the effect of humble, but I don't know.
I would say, yeah, like when you're sad. I don't know, maybe I'm off here. But since Callie's sitting here, like when I'm sick, I'm really kind. Like when I get sick, I'm really kind. So like when you're poor in spirit, like you're depressed, you're sad, and you're like looking for direction, maybe.
Mm.
Humility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, like poor in spirit, your frequency,
Vulnerable.
your frequency is low
Mm.
in the spirit realm. Maybe.
Yeah, which makes you vulnerable. So like you're either gonna take a good direction or bad direction.
Or any direction. That's exactly what you just said.
Let's see. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after the righteousness, for they shall be filled.
Let's stop on meek. Always heard, like, I guess the cliche would be meek is weak or whatever, but I don't believe that. I don't think guys typically believe that anymore. But what do you think meek actually is?
I've heard like Jordan Peterson's definition. He's got that clip where he says that the meek are the patient.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that particular clip of his.
It's more like they're patient, so they don't. Like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. If you stay out of it, you inherit the earth.
Okay. Okay.
Does that work?
All right, sure. I always felt like it was like, speak softly, carry a big stick kind of thing. Like, you don't show a lot of bravado. You're not super boisterous or whatever. So, but that doesn't necessarily equivocate to weakness,
Do the right thing, but don't go out looking for violence.
Like
so you
a fight,
can show that you're strong.
Yeah.
This is all leading back to humility, bro.
Mm.
Yeah. In the index here it says humility.
Humility? Okay.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, also humble, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
We'll stop on 7 because I think there's another verse somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it is. I think it might be in Acts, and I also feel like it's in the Gospel somewhere. But it's like, by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. And it's like, I think it's an additional motivation to be merciful because God's going to take your... I always took those passages, and this is me speculating, but I always took those passages to mean that whatever standards you hold other people to, it's going to be the standards you're held to in life. And, if you're talking about whether or not you're saved, then dirty little secret is you can't even uphold your own criterion.
Right.
So you need to be merciful to other people. That's kind of how I always understood it. So.
Yeah. It's like the Lord's Prayer says you can only forgive so you can be forgiven, basically. Like,
yeah, let's see. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Yeah.
Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. That means God can't forgive us until we forgive people.
Yeah.
Or ourselves.
All right.
Have you ever tried to forgive yourself?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I don't even know what that looks like. It's like, I'll let you off this time, buddy. It's like, yeah. All right, thanks.
I owe you one. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
I want to say peacemakers, not peaceful. Like, you got to be willing to do what it takes to make peace. That doesn't mean avoiding conflict at all costs. I don't think that's a pacifism verse.
Peacemakers are about boundaries, I would say.
What does that mean? I don't like.
If you protect your personal boundaries, like if you protect your personal country, the same kind of concept. Then people can't. Like, we're all trying to walk the middle path. Okay, so like a peacemaker would be someone who shows all the people around him how to walk the middle path.
No, I just think you need to be doing things with peace as the objective. But that doesn't always mean that, you don't stand up to people if they're bullies or whatever. You gotta be willing to protect other people if that's going to maintain the peace, for example. So, just speaking very broadly. And I think people equate peacemakers with pacifism and, being
No,
subjugated or
no, just like meek, like stay quiet and carry a big stick, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah. I mean, I think you want to try to make, and I also think it's could be applied not just like in a violence context, but just like in the willingness to be the first to apologize. Being the first to end conflicts, being the guy that reaches out and is the assertive one to make peace with whoever you're fighting with or whatnot.
Yeah.
And trying to like work to make peace in a family and all of that. Like, I don't like the peaceful equivocation because it implies passivity, but I feel like being a peacemaker is more assertive. Like, you've got to take steps to make peace in a home or in a country or whatever, Like, I feel like there's an active component for the person to be the leader and make the peace if at all possible, Like, as far as it is up to you, as Paul would say. Like being the first to apologize, for example. That stings a little bit more, though. That stings a little bit more than just, being nice. It's like, you need to be the first to actually try to make stuff right. And whatever it is, peace just needs to be the objective. Whatever you got to do.
Okay.
Well, that's my thought. What do you think?
Ouch.
Ouch.
Thinking, ouch.
Thinking, ouch. Oh. Not helpful, Trevor.
Well,
No, every time you.
I think we just lost a viewer because you said that.
No, whenever you.
He's like, I quit. I just quit.
Whenever you were talking about peacekeeping, and then my brain went to that show in both.
You were thinking Peacekeeper?
Peacekeeper.
The HBO show with Cena?
No, it's dang it. Mockingjay.
Oh.
What was it called?
Oh,
The Hunger Games?
The Hunger Games. Those peacekeepers.
Oh.
And my brain stuck on that, and I'm like, get away. Those are not peacekeepers. That's not what we're talking about.
You're kind of having an ADD moment, huh?
And then you were asking me. And I'm like, oh crap.
Uh-oh.
Well, Cody, since you're paying attention, what do you think?
I'm not. I can't understand what you're saying. How do you actively?
No. He first apologized, for example. After a fight. Let's use that.
So basically, if you and me were to get into a fight, and I'm like, whoa, this is wrong. I'm sorry that we're fighting. That's me keeping the peace, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like, you stick up for yourself. Like, I'm not saying, like, you don't avoid conflict. You have the conflict, but you make sure.
What if you just don't argue?
That would be avoidance. That'd be like conflict avoidance. I'm not sure that would actually be like keeping the peace because you're still like mad and you just don't say anything.
No, but you're not mad.
What if you never have the anger to begin with?
Well, then there's not a problem. I'm just using it as an example. If like you get mad at somebody and you guys have a fight, I'm not saying you should lie or do whatever it takes to de-escalate because that would be passive.
No.
I am saying that when everything's said and done, you should be the first to apologize and reach out because that is keeping the peace. You need to make it right initially or be the first one to try to make it right.
So what about when someone is mad at you and they try and pick a fight, but you just...
Well, I think in that case you'd be right not to fight. Like if they're trying to cause a conflict, then I think that would be
trying to get a reaction. And you just...
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like whatever you do, peace is the objective. It's just I think people make this equivalency of like not ever sticking up for yourself, Just kind of, just being kind of weak and not saying anything at all.
What did Jesus do?
Well, I think sometimes he was nice and sometimes he was harsh, depending on what the situation required.
Did he let people be mean to him?
Yes.
And you don't agree with that?
I think it was appropriate for the situation he was in, but he was also, again, we talked about it last night, the priest, him making the whip and beating the crap out of the priest. He wasn't always that way. I just think it varies depending on what the situation requires.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the overall objective needs to be keeping the peace, but that doesn't always require
I think it's good to
non-violence
stop.
or passivity.
You should stop active violence. There's active violence going on, but you can't, when you start trying to keep violence from happening, that's when you become the enemy. You become what you hate.
Talking about, let's see if I can give an example. Are you talking like Minority Report versus?
No, when you get so defensive. Well, Minority Report is a wet dream. That doesn't actually work like that.
Well,
it works like the peacemakers, like he was talking about. They become monsters because they're not adhered to God's rule. They have their own agenda, right? God's rule is passivity, not passivity, but God's will, right? And so it's perfect. You can either follow that or you're wrong.
I do think that there is a difference though between peace and that quiet tension that exists in Thanksgiving when you don't talk to that family member. You know what I mean? I wouldn't consider that subtle tension where it's talk about football, talk about, anything else, but don't talk about that fight we had that one time or whatever. You know what I mean? I would consider that a certain kind of hell.
Oh yeah, I always bring that kind of stuff up.
Huh?
I always bring that kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't just sit if there's an elephant in the room, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, but if you bring it up, that makes you an active. You're not being passive then. You're being active. You're actively trying to draw the poison out, and hopefully the objective would be to get it resolved, which would be in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, I get it now.
Okay. So, all right, hey, there you go. We got to figure it out. So how far did we get? We're
on chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
All right. Well, I know, but we got to the peacemakers verse, so that's fine. All right, let's just
11.
Let's
12.
It's 11 or 12.
I think let's finish the Beatitudes, which I think ended 11. Because we did peacemakers, we still got persecuted and men shall revile you and persecute. Yeah. I think we got a persecution section, and then after that it's rejoice. And then we got other saints. So let's finish the Beatitudes, which is 11, 12, and then I think we ought to call it good. Because I don't think we're getting through 5 in one day.
That was one question that was asked. What the heck are Beatitudes?
Oh yeah, well, it's just it's just a nickname for blessed are. It's a terminology for blessed are this, blessed are that. That kind of thing.
Eagle's head stuck.
Huh?
Eagle's head.
Oh. Got a kid hiding in the window.
I'm trying to see how.
Oh, maybe they're playing hide and seek.
That's
hide and seek.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
All right. 11. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake.
I think the one before that was, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Indeed.
So you have 2 persecution verses.
Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
Okay. So that's 12. I guess we'll pick up on 13 next week.
So good.
All right. That's our Bible reading.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.